icon on the obituaries page of TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
This is Blaine Cornwell with Prairie State Insurance. To learn more about our products and services, click our icon on TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Your information station, WTIM.
Good morning. You're listening to WTIM, your information station, and our morning show, which is brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Grayson Bauman. Joining me in this segment is Kelsey Bentledge. Kelsey is a nutrition educator with the St. Louis Dairy Council. She's joining us by phone today. Good morning to you, Kelsey. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Grayson?
I'm doing well, and glad to hear that you're doing well. Well, it's always unique how many different weeks and months of the year now, or even days of the year now, get a new title and get told to us that it's this month now. And I did not know this, but May is National Mediterranean Diet Month. So can you just start by telling us what is a Mediterranean diet and a little bit of background on it?
Yes, there seems to be a month for everything these days, isn't there?
It does. It does.
But this one's a really good one to celebrate because the Mediterranean diet has topped the charts and healthiest diets for years on end now. It again topped the charts in 2025. So the Mediterranean diet, it's an eating pattern that really focuses on foods and the culture of those countries that live within the Mediterranean. So Italy, Greece, think Mediterranean setting, but the diet itself just emphasizes whole foods like fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, fish, nuts, and dairy. Dairy really fits well this eating plan, and the combination of these foods just helps to create a really healthy lifestyle for many individuals. So it's a really great diet for a lot of different conditions, including things like heart disease and diabetes, and it's just an overall healthy diet because it focuses on whole foods.
And you mentioned that dairy fits into that diet. How does it do so? If you could tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so dairy fits in just like it fits into a typical American diet. We need to have 3 servings of dairy every day, and that could be a cup of milk, a cup of yogurt, an ounce and a half of cheese, or whatever combination you come up with. But dairy really provides a ton of essential nutrients. Milk provides 13 essential nutrients like calcium and protein and vitamin D. And then whatever combination you come up with to reach those 3 servings a day, it fits really well into this plan. Greek yogurt obviously is a great option that fits into this diet. Has a ton of protein. It also contains probiotics. There's lots of cheeses that fit really well into this diet plan, and that can offer another source of calcium and additional nutrients. So the big thing with dairy in the Mediterranean diet is that it pairs really well with other food groups. So we're really focusing on those whole foods in the Mediterranean diet. So you can pair dairy with fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, lots of different ways to get in fiber alongside dairy, to get in a ton of really important nutrients that we don't typically get in the classic American diet.
So for the Mediterranean diet, it's the month of the Mediterranean diet. And getting dairy and those examples for Greek yogurt or some cheese, even a cup of milk as well. What are some meals? What are some ways to add to the Mediterranean dishes you might already be planning for the month? How can I get dairy in those meals?
Yes, yeah. So we're talking about a diet, but obviously we have to relate that to food, and food has to be delicious, in my opinion, for any diet to work. So some different ideas include maybe using milk and feta cheese and Greek yogurt in different ways. Like you could enjoy a glass of milk along with a spinach and feta cheese omelet would be a really nutritious breakfast. You could also figure out ways that you can incorporate dairy into your typical meals, like maybe adding milk to your scrambled eggs to make them more fluffy. You could drizzle Greek yogurt with honey and walnuts for a really yummy breakfast or snack. And then marinate chicken in Greek yogurt. We actually have a really good recipe for that this month. If you really love Greek food, you can make your own tzatziki sauce. by adding shredded cucumbers, lemon juice, olive oil, garlic, and dill to Greek yogurt. Feta cheese is another great thing that can be added. It's a very mild cheese to kind of go along with this diet and flavor profile as well.
So, of course, ways to get dairy into the diet and get that incorporated with said Mediterranean diet. But with those whole foods and the dairy, is there other ways that we can incorporate the Mediterranean kind of diet, lifestyle, the meals into our everyday lives? Obviously, we're used to that typical American diet, but how do we maybe transition easier to something like a Mediterranean diet?
Yeah, so the Mediterranean diet, like I said, is really about whole foods and focusing on those nutrient-dense foods. My favorite diets are the ones that focus on what we can add to our diet rather than focusing on what we need to take away from a diet to be healthy. So that's the big focus is those whole foods, those nutrient-dense foods. However, the reason why people in the Mediterranean are so healthy has a lot to do with their culture as well. So things like physical activity and like other healthful activities kind of blend into their culture. So eating together as a family is one. Getting a lot of exercise is another. Taking a little bit of extra time to enjoy the little things in life and taking care of your mental health. Slowing down, enjoying nature, being outside. Gardening is another thing a lot of people in the Mediterranean do. So you're having those fresh fruits and veggies all the time. Gathering with family and friends brings a little bit of happiness to the table, and mental health and physical health go hand in hand. So there's lots of ways that you can kind of incorporate the way of the Mediterranean diet into your lifestyle without even just incorporating the food.
Sure. And one question for you would be, say somebody tells you, I just don't have enough time to sit my family down at the table. We're off to soccer practice and we've got baseball the next day, whatever the case might be. How would you maybe recommend getting you and your family to the table to enjoy each other's company over a nice meal? How do we fit that more into our schedule and more regularly?
Yeah, and that's super tough because we're all busy and we live a hustle and bustle lifestyle here in the U.S. But I would just start small with setting goals for you and your family. Maybe just getting to the table and sitting down with each other to enjoy a meal. Maybe three days a week if you don't do it at all, or 2 days a week, just to start, and kind of figuring out how you can work that time into your weekly schedule. It might not happen every single day, and that's okay. And you can figure out ways to get healthy meals in with your family on the go. But yeah, maybe just setting a small goal and starting from where you're at with your family and your lifestyle.
And my last question for you before we take our first break here. Obviously, life in the Mediterranean sounds a little bit different. And for those that have been there, probably feels a whole lot more different. How do we maybe take some of those examples? How do we maybe take some of those positive things that are done over there and then incorporate those into our lifestyle as well? Taking that time to enjoy the little things. How does that kind of fit in with the Mediterranean diet that's outside of whole foods and dairy? How do we get ourselves more out in nature, taking more time to enjoy things? What are some recommendations you might have there?
Yeah, maybe trying out going on a hike with your family or something different. We drive a lot in the U.S. because everything is so spread out compared to the Mediterranean. So just from like a geographical standpoint, our lives are so different. And so maybe instead of parking as close as you can to the grocery store door, park at the edge of the parking lot just to enjoy that walk in, especially when the weather is so nice like it is right now. And just really enjoy being outside, or planning some sort of family outing that includes the outdoors. Whatever, fits your family, your lifestyle, and gets you outside and moving is going to be what's best for you and for your health.
So we're talking Mediterranean diet, and we're talking how May is Mediterranean Diet Month, but there's some things outside of the diet that you might want to pick up from the Mediterranean lifestyle that we just touched on a moment ago. Well, I am joined by Kelsey Bentledge, nutrition educator with the St. Louis Dairy Council. We'll take ourselves a break, and we'll come back and we'll find out a delicious recipe on how to incorporate the Mediterranean diet in you and your family's lifestyle. You're listening to WTIM, your information station.
Your information station, WTIM.
Find out all the great things happening in the Pana area on the WTIM Pana Morning Show, Tuesdays from 8:40 till 10. You'll hear interviews with Pana area community, nonprofit, and business leaders each week. The WTIM Pana Morning Show is brought to you by these sponsors.
Our title sponsor, People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, along with Pizza Man, Noren's Hardware, Your Pana Save-A-Lot, Whiskey Bill's Saloon and Liquor Emporium, and Locked and Loaded Limited.
Have your own apartment and enjoy 3 home-cooked meals a day at Taylorville Estates Assisted Living, where they encourage independence and enrich lives. You can socialize with friends and ride the bus to many local activities. Taylorville Estates Assisted Living residents are treated like family. Check for vacancies or get on the waiting list by contacting Administrator Tony Clark. Stop by or call 824-2222. That's 824-2222. Taylorville Estates Assisted Living, encouraging independence, enriching lives.
This is Bill Pinkston, General Sales Manager at Landmark of Taylorville. We are celebrating springtime with unbelievable discounts. Right now, you can get employee pricing on most of our new in-stock models. You pay what we pay on our award-winning Chevy, Buick, and GMC lineups. Plus, with over 400 pre-owned vehicles in our family dealerships and our lifetime powertrain warranty, why would you buy anywhere else? Have a vehicle you want to sell? Bring it by for a quick, no-hassle appraisal. All roads lead to Landmark of Taylorville, where you can save thousands with employee pricing. And remember,
You always do better at Landmark.
Graduation is a lot more than crossing a stage to receive a diploma. It's a demonstration of your determination, self-discipline, and dedication to personal growth. In a world full of distractions, you stayed focused and finished strong. Education has opened a door for the members of the class of 2025, and now it's their turn to make the most of it. Today, we congratulate our new graduates, the class of 2025.
This Good Luck Grad message is brought to you by Ayers Bank, 106 North Main Street in Moequa. Member FDIC.
A good education is much more than a technical knowledge of algebra, English, history, literature, arts, and sciences. It also challenges students to learn to think, to analyze the problems at hand, and to search for the right solutions. The members of the class of 2025 are ready to put their education to work, and we offer them our best wishes for success in the years ahead.
This Good Luck Grads message is brought to you by Advanced Title Group Incorporated, Christian County's oldest and only locally owned title company, 101 South Washington Street in Taylorville.
This is Megan Lopez with Nesty's Burger Joint on the south side of the Taylorville Square. To see our menu, click on our icon on TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
This is Shawless Nagel, Executive Director at Kimmer Village in Assumption. To learn more about our services, click on our icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Your information station, WTIM.
Back around with our first segment of the WTIM Morning Show, brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Grayson Bauman. Joining me in this segment is Kelsey Bentledge. She is a nutrition educator with the St. Louis Dairy Council. And with May being Mediterranean Diet Month, that's been the focus and what we're talking about here. But now we're going to talk about how to actually incorporate that into a dinner that you have coming up. Kelsey, you guys always have a recipe of the month. This month, no different. What do you have on tap for folks out there?
Yeah, so this month we have a Greek yogurt chicken and vegetable recipe. So this is a sheet pan recipe that's really simple and really easy meal for a weeknight for people looking for something new to try at home. So the Greek yogurt actually has some acidity to it, so it tenderizes the meat. It's actually going to marinate your chicken overnight or for a few hours, whatever you have time for, but it really tenderizes that chicken, allows it to soak up all the flavors of that tart and tangy Greek yogurt and all of the Greek seasonings as well. But this recipe really allows you to be creative. So we put certain vegetables on the sheet pan recipe on our website. You can always find our recipes on our website at steeldairycouncil.org. But we put certain vegetables on there like zucchini, bell peppers, onions. But if you don't like those vegetables, then maybe try out vegetables that you do like. The flavor profile really goes well with any type of vegetable. But add some Kalamata olives or feta cheese to really add like an additional pop of Greek Mediterranean flavor to this dish. It's really easy cleanup. It's only using one sheet pan for the cooking, and it's just really super flavorful recipe that will likely make it into your rotation. All of us at the Dairy Council have tried it, and we're like, "Yep, this is a keeper. We're gonna keep making this recipe for our families on a rotation." So it's really nutritious and delicious recipe. So make sure to check that out this month for Mediterranean Diet Month.
And Kelsey, perfectly just like that, we are out of time, but stldairycouncil.org to go find that recipe and make that for you and your family. Kelsey Bentledge, nutrition educator with the St. Louis Dairy Council, joining us here on WTIM, your information station.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville. 96.1 FM Taylorville. 107.5 FM Shelbyville. 107.9 FM Pena Nokomis.
In 25 years. During his Mideast visit, the president